We're now at Boyle railway station, which was the most important item in our lives. Going back many years, there would maybe 3 trains a day to Dublin, but nowadays we have one every 2 hours, so it's a wonderful service. The station here, or the railway, I suppose you could say, saw many different aspects of life here, or industry if you want. During the emergency, when fuel was very scarce.
That was the war years emergency, was it?
The Second World War.
Yeah. Right.
It was used extensively to transport turf, which was cut locally and transported to Dublin, and a lot of it was stored in the Phoenix Park in Dublin, and local merchants there distributed to the people. Also, another thing I remember quite well was the famous blizzard of 1947, when the whole country was shut down, and of course railway lines were badly affected, and particularly where they passed through the cuttings, and they had to be cleared, and every available man that could be found was employed to help clear the railway line, and eventually got it cleared after maybe a week of heavy digging with shovels mainly. There was no mechanical diggers or anything at the time. But also this good store here then, of course, was a clearing point for Guinnesses. All the stout from Guinnesses came by rail, and what else I'm going to say.
And then the cattle, do you remember on the fair day?
Yeah, on a fair day, particularly the major fairs, from, we'll say, October to April, what the people used to call a special came in the night before of empty wagons, and most of the heavy cattle then that were bought up on the fair green would be walked up to the station here to be shipped away with the various buyers that came from far away, to a lot of them probably for export at that time too, as well, be exported on the hoof. And that was another. And then most of the merchandise then that came for the local shopkeepers would have been taken into the goods store here, or else into the very extensive stores built by James Camden and Company. And all the merchandise there would be collected and taken on horse and cart, either down to Camden's or maybe to some of the various shops around town.
But that's the big difference between now. Now all goods come by road, by lorry. But the railway was so important then, because all the supplies for the town came by rail. And Camden's had huge stores here, stocking all the goods, and
feed stuff.
Yeah, all that sort of stuff. And then the carters, there must have been 3 or 4 carts.
Oh, there was.
Full time, drawing goods from here down to their other stores in Patrick Street. And that was the daily life of Boyle, where it was Camden's carts. And then on a lighter side, of course, for Carrick-Regatta, a good section of Boyle, it was the big day of the year for them. So they'd all go over on the train in the morning, and they weren't that awful interested in boats being pulled at all. It was over for good booze up the wind. And those that didn't go had as much fun as those that did go, watching those that did go rolling off the train in the evening. And if Leisha had still a breath in her there, and a goatskin band would play up a tune here, and she danced a hornpipe on the platform here.
Right, yeah.
So it was used big time for all that. And then of course it was the steam train at that time.
That's right.
And when they come into Boyle here, down here on top of it's gone off now, there was a big tank there. So there'd have to be a water tank. It'd have to be filled up with water, and to bring it on to the next station. So the train, there was always a sense of excitement because of the steam and the smell of it.
That's right.
And I always enjoyed it. And we as young people spent a lot of our time playing on the railway line. Now, of course, you wouldn't be let within a hassle roar of it.
That's right.
But we used to slide up and down the banks there, and there was people McCarnes was
he
the
was the
station master
master,
for
yeah.
quite a long time.
Oh, a long time.
And lads were friendly with us, and they used to have explosives, crackers,
Oh, yes,
for telling
fog
warnings.
Yeah.
And he used to get a few of them, and we would set them up the field, throwing stones at them to get them to bang.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good one. There was another item too, was that the Evening Herald used to come down on the 10:30 at night.
Oh yeah.
And it's amazing the number of people that would buy the Evening Herald that hadn't got the daily paper.
Yeah.
And there was a young fella from Green Street called Eddie Durkin, who was the paper boy, as they used to call him.
Yeah.
And he'd be up and he'd collect the paper at that train in the evening, and he'd walk down the street shouting, Evening Herald, Evening Herald, you know, like the fellas in Dublin. You know?
Yeah.